The screen door sighed behind me as my grandpa opened it, sweater vest and all, and hit me with the question I'd been dreading. Buddy, why did you come by taxi? What happened to the BMW we gave you for your 21st birthday? Before I could even open my mouth, my mother stepped out from the dining room wearing that bright, practiced smile that always meant trouble. That car belongs to his sister now, she said, like it was the funniest punchline in the world. Grandpa went quiet. He stood there for a long moment, deep in thought. And what he did next, that's the part that still makes me proud of him. My name is Wade. I'm 26, the oldest grandchild, and the quiet fixer in a loud family. If something wobbles, I shim it. If someone forgets a birthday, I'm the one driving across town with a cake and a Sharpie. I run a small workshop in a rented garage where I hand-paint Christmas ornaments, glass robins, tiny cabins with frosted windows, little snow globes that don't leak if you seal them right. My hands smell like lacquer most days. I like checklists, coffee that tastes like pennies, and the satisfaction of a straight paint line when my wrist doesn't shake. People think I'm patient. The truth is, I'm allergic to conflict. I learned early that a calm voice and a credit card solve most family emergencies faster than any argument. That's our Wade, Mom likes to say. He's steady. That Saturday, everything snapped. I showed up at my grandparents' house in a taxi because my hands were full of sample boxes for the holiday market and because the BMW was no longer in my life. I still had glitter in my hair from a fresh batch of snowflakes that shed like nervous cats. I was halfway up the porch, juggling a heavy box with my knee, when Grandpa opened the door and asked, warm and surprised, "Buddy, why did you come by taxi? What happened to the BMW we gave you for your 21st birthday?" I froze. The screen door sighed on its spring. In the hallway mirror, I saw myself, tired, smudged, already looking like the guy who would say, "It's fine. It's nothing. Don't worry." Before I could answer, Mom stepped forward with her bright smile locked in place. That car belongs to his sister now. The room changed temperature. My uncle stopped chewing. The old clock in the foyer suddenly sounded way too loud. Grandpa went very still. He looked at Mom, then at me, then back at Mom, like he was reading labels on cans he didn't remember buying. "Belongs to who?" he asked, even though he'd heard her clearly. "To Bree," Mom said. "You know how hard she works. Wade hardly drives anyway. He just paints little balls." She let out a soft, "Uh-huh." "The kind that pretends to be kind." My uncle snorted. "Mom," I said. My voice came out thin and embarrassing. Bree poked her head around the corner, straw in her water glass and a ring light reflection still glowing in her eyes. "It's just logistics," she chirped. "I have meetings." Grandpa rubbed his jaw once, the way he does when he's working through numbers. Then he patted my shoulder, gentle but firm. "Come in, son," he said, and led me to the table. He didn't argue. He didn't raise his voice. He simply folded his napkin and, in that same polite tone he uses with contractors who overbid, started asking questions. "I wish I could tell you I said something sharp. I didn't. I just slid into the chair next to him and pressed my thumb into the edge of a sample box until the cardboard bit into my skin. The first question was simple. When did the car start belonging to your sister? Grandpa asked. "Dad." Mom warned, "Let the boy speak." Grandpa said quietly. Then he looked straight at me. The truth crouched in my chest, scratching to get out. "I don't know," I said. "It just happened." And that was the worst part. It had just happened so many times before. Mom replied instantly, "Ungrateful. Your grandpa gave that car to our family. We decide what's best." Bree dropped a heart on Mom's message and posted a selfie caption on the grind. Dad sent a thumbs-up emoji, the universal sign for, "I don't want to be here." That week, my bank pinged overdraft. My shop rent auto debit hit, right after another ad charge cleared. I slept on the workshop floor that night because going home felt like losing ground. I listened to the office clock tick and made promises to the ceiling. This is the last time I carry everyone. I will say something. I will. 2 days later, we were back at Grandpa's table. Roasted chicken, soft rolls, peas with butter that tasted like childhood. He passed the peas and asked, casual as the weather, "So the car?" Mom jumped in. Dad, don't make this a thing. Grandpa smiled in a way that didn't reach his eyes. I'm just asking for the story. Bree stirred her water with a straw. It's simple. I'm using it more. Grandpa looked at me. And you, son? Do you agree it's simple? The only word that came out was small, but solid. No, it didn't fix anything that day, but it changed me. The next morning, Mom added me to a new chat called Holiday Strategy. It had color-coded cells and percentages that looked like a ransom note. Mom, family booth this year. Bree Films. We produce. Dad manages logistics. Profit split. 60% Bree marketing. 20% family fund/house bills. 20% wave materials. I stared until the numbers blurred. There was theft dressed as teamwork. Me? No. My booth. My products. I'll pay for help. I'm not giving 80% away. Mom, we raised you. Bree also needs a Square reader. I connected my account, so payouts hit my wallet quickly. Easier for everyone. Easier for everyone except me. I didn't argue in paragraphs. I opened a new tab and started a list titled Everything I Paid For. It was longer than I could hold in my head. The total sat there like a dare. That's when the ground shifted under my feet. I realized I could either be the bank or the business. I couldn't be both. I called Grandpa. I need advice, I said. My voice sounded borrowed. Come over, he said. No questions. He already had a yellow legal pad on the table when I arrived. He nudged a pen toward me. Tell me what you owe and what they owe you. I opened my laptop and showed him the spreadsheet. Mortgage transfers, utilities just until tax time. Add packages I never approved, gas and insurance I didn't use. Inventory gifted influencers who never tagged us. Refunds Bree issue without asking because we need goodwill. He listened without interrupting, just making a single tick for every $100. Methodical as a metronome. When I finished, he looked at the page, then at me. You've been subsidizing their lifestyle, he said. They're calling it love to make it go down smooth. Something in me unclenched. He named it without using fancy words. He said theft without saying theft. He poured coffee. Okay, here's what we do. That night, I changed every password. I unlinked every device. I closed a joint account Mom had forgotten to step off. I ordered a new Square reader. I drafted a PDF titled Record of Transfers, Unauthorized Charges, and Inventory Losses. Then I sent one message in Holiday Strategy and one in Hearth and Home. Me. Here are receipts for everything I've paid to the house since last year, plus business charges taken without consent. Total, $8,742.19. I will not fund your bills this winter. I will not use Bree's marketing. I will not split profits. Return the BMW by Friday 5 p.m. or I'll report unauthorized use of a business asset. This is my boundary. Mom, threats to your own mother? Shame. Bree, over a car? Grow up. Dad, let's calm down. I didn't reply. I drove Grandpa's truck to the shop, worked until 3 a.m. and made 2 new signs. Custom name ornaments, cash, card, Venmo, and family discount suspended. Taping that second one hurt and healed at the same time. Friday at 5:23, the BMW wasn't in my lot. At 5:26, I clicked Report Vehicle Misuse with my insurer and sent the PDF to the family. My aunt, who's a paralegal, and Grandpa. Subject line, Record for Business Files. My phone lit up like a slot machine. Mom, how dare you involve outsiders? Bree, you ruined my weekend. Me, return the car or I proceed. At 7:11 p.m., headlights swung into the lot. Bree stepped out, tossed the keys like she was discarding gum, and wouldn't meet my eyes. The tank's low, she said. I needed it. There was a new scratch along the rear door. I took photos. I said nothing. She ordered an Uber and left. The lot went quiet except for the cheap banner I'd hung flapping against its grommets. I put my forehead on the cool roof of the BMW and shook. Relief, rage, and grief all braided together. Then my phone buzzed. Grandpa, proud of you. Come by tomorrow. I slept 4 hours and went to the market before dawn. December markets are a battlefield of smiles. You're freezing. Your feet ache. Your brain whispers that you underpriced everything. But that first weekend after I drew the line, I felt light, like I put down a box I didn't realize I was carrying. Grandpa showed up at 9 sharp in his oval coat. He bought 6 ornaments he didn't need. He handed me a thermos of coffee and took the spare stool behind the table, commenting on my lettering like a baseball announcer. Good curve on that G. He didn't mention Mom. He didn't have to. By noon, I'd sold out of the dog bone ornaments. A woman asked for Milo with a tiny heart. While I painted, my phone vibrated nonstop with Mom's alternating guilt and fury. Mom, you embarrassed us with that email. Mom, if the insurance goes up, you're paying. Mom, we're family. Family shares. I muted the thread and painted Milo clean and small. At 2, Dad drifted up the booth with his hands stuffed in his jacket, like they weren't allowed out. Your mother's upset, he said to the air near my ear. I know about the money, I said. I won't discuss it without Grandpa. My voice was steady. I didn't recognize it at first. He nodded once and left like a man who'd walked into the wrong waiting room. By evening, Mom had posted on Facebook about children who forget who fed them and tagged me. An aunt called to say, apologize. Another aunt texted, proud of you. Quietly, always quietly. Sunday morning, Grandpa called a family coffee. Everyone came because when Grandpa asks, you come? He had 2 folders on the table, my spreadsheet and a thin stack of documents with tabs. Mom launched fast. Dad, Wade is blowing this up. Bree needed support. He's punishing her over a car. Grandpa held up a hand. We'll start with numbers. He tapped the folder. Wade has transferred just under $9,000 to your household this year and paid about $2,000 in business charges for the family without authorization. He also lost use of a vehicle I purchased specifically for his work. He looked at Bree. That is theft by use, even if you didn't intend harm. Bree's mouth opened and closed. Mom laughed brittle. Dad, don't use legal words. This is family. Family, Grandpa said, should be the last place you encounter theft. Silence. The refrigerator hummed. Dad studied the grout. Grandpa turned to me. What do you want, Wade? I didn't give a speech. I said 3 things. I want the charges stopped. I want repayment on a plan. And I want a boundary. My business is mine. Grandpa nodded. Good. He slid the thin stack to me. And I want you safe. Years ago, I set aside a small trust meant for family needs. After watching how needs have been defined here, I've reassigned it to you for the business. It's not a fortune. It's enough for a proper lease and a second workbench. Mom's chair scraped loud. You can't reward his tantrum, she said. Color climbed her neck. You're encouraging selfishness. Grandpa's eyes were kind and unmovable. I'm encouraging work, he said, and boundaries. Dad tried a middle path. Maybe Wade could still contribute to the house after things stabilize. No, I said quiet but firm. I won't fund the house. If you need help, I'll bring groceries when I can. That's where it ends. Mom pointed at me, fingers shaking. You owe us. We raised you. You raised me to be useful. I said, I'm choosing to be respected. Bree's voice came out small. So, where does that leave me? I was counting on collabs. If you cut me out my engagement, if your brand needs your brother's money to exist, Grandpa said gently, it isn't a brand. It's dependence. Bree looked like she might cry, then got mad at herself for almost crying. Whatever, she said, I'll figure it out. I hope you do, I said, and I meant it. No dramatic ending. No group hug. I took the folder and went back to the workshop. That week, I signed a short lease on a corner unit with big windows you can clean from the inside. I moved my racks at night with help from my neighbor, a night shift nurse who refuses cash and accepted a Best Neighbor 2025 ornament instead. I printed a clean window sign with store hours and custom orders welcome. I posted one video, hands only, no face, just me dotting snow on a tiny blue mailbox. It got 100 likes from strangers and one from Grandpa, who doesn't even have an account. That meant my cousin showed him how, and he pressed the heart on purpose. Mom adjusted her strategies. She asked if I could loan Bree some blanks so she could start her own line. I said no. She frowned like I'd broken a vase. She asked to borrow the BMW so Dad could check something under the hood. I said the car stays in my lot with a steering wheel club lock. Dramatic, she said. Okay, I said, and that was the whole conversation. A local paper ran a tiny piece on holiday makers. They photographed my hands because my nails are permanently silver, and the reporter thought that was atmospheric. The caption read, "Small shop, steady hands." Grandpa clipped the article and stuck it on his fridge with a tomato magnet. He pointed to it every time I visited like it might change size if we believed hard enough. On Christmas Eve, I closed early and took a box of seconds to the senior center. Paint smudges and crooked hats, the ones I'd never sell. The manager cried and said, "These are perfect to us." On the way home, I drove past my parents' house. Through the window, Bree filmed by the tree, smile wide, lights perfect. For a second, I ached. Then I kept driving. I had cocoa to make and a shop to open in the morning. January was quiet. Quiet is how you hear yourself think. I used the time to fix a leak, buy a proper spray booth, and hire a high school kid named Jess for afternoons. Jess labels straighter than I do and tells me when my display looks like a dad shelf, which is apparently an insult and a compass. We laugh a lot. Mom still sends occasional probes. Family dinner, bring ornaments. I don't go. I reply, "Can't, shop hours," which is true and also boundary language. Sometimes she replies with a thumbs down. Sometimes nothing. Dad came in twice and bought Fisherman 1989 ornaments with cash. He's still like a man on a boat he didn't trust. "Your grandpa's proud," he said. "You did right." I wrapped the boxes and said, "Good." Bree posted a rebrand video in February. Lifestyle, thrifting tips, apartment resets. She didn't ask for blanks again. She came in once, bought a tiny camera ornament for a friend, and paid full price. We didn't hug. We didn't fight. We were just two adults at a counter. It felt like a start. Customers started telling me their own boundary stories while I lettered names. A nurse who stopped paying her brother's tickets. A son who reclaimed a pickup used as a family Uber. A grandmother who said no to being the holiday ATM. They left with ribbons and lighter shoulders, like the ornament weighed something before it weighed nothing. On a Tuesday, Grandpa sat in the back with a crossword and said without looking up, "Work is long but honest." That beats applause. I kept painting and realized I was breathing easier than I had in years. Boundaries look mean to people who benefit from you having none. They call your no a betrayal. They say you've forgotten where you came from. They make being you sound like being loved. I used to fall for that. I don't anymore. Saying no didn't shrink my life. It made room. I sleep. I eat food on plates instead of over a trash can in the garage. I stop by the senior center with a small box of not perfects every month. Jess talks about math tests and playlists while she packs. I call things what they are. I say I can't do that. And I don't explain like a hostage negotiator. My relationship with Mom is accurate. She invites. I decline. When we talk, I keep it on the weather in her garden. When she tries to slide money into a sentence, I step over it. Dad hovers between us like a moth trying to pick a lamp. Bree is figuring herself out on camera. Good for her. What Grandpa did after that quiet moment at the table was more than paperwork. He did not rescue me. He stood beside me while I rescued myself. He looked at me like I was already a man doing a hard, ordinary thing. And that look made the ground under my feet feel real again. I thought love meant paying any bill with family scrolled in the memo. Now I think love looks like a chair pulled up beside you and hot coffee while you make a list of what you can and cannot give. Love doesn't spend what isn't offered. Love doesn't rename theft to make it palatable. I make small breakable things that somehow last. I will help when I can, gladly, freely, with both hands. But I won't be anyone's bank. I won't be guilt into sponsoring the version of me they prefer. A silent wallet with paint under his nails. I won't let myself be used again. That's the line. It's not moving. And if someone calls that selfish, fine. I know what it costs to say yes to everything. I like what my no has bought me better. Quiet, steady hands, and a life that feels like it's mine.